Hey everybody, welcome to my video. It's been a while since my last video, so I kind of went a little bit numb in season 11. It's once you get around Paragon 1100, it sort of dies out a little bit. It's too much the same, unless you have the time to really compete on leaderboards. But even though I do play quite a lot, I have a full-time job, so it's hard to keep up on leaderboards. So you just gotta find whatever you personally find is funny. And last season I played Necromancer, and what I found funny there was to try and tweak the meta build just a little bit to to find just new fun ways to play. And I actually this season I chose Monk, and I found a little bit that I haven't really seen too. Actually, I don't think I've seen any use it yet. Um, but probably doesn't come as a surprise. It's the fire build spec with a tweak. So let's let's dig into it. And for the cube, I use the intense torch with the grand temple. Um, the nemesis bracers, best bracers in the game in my opinion, especially for farming. Also for rift progress and leveling up gems and stuff like that. For T13, I use the Everest band to never have to backtrack to pick up progress globes. You don't want to spend time doing that. It needs to be done automatically. So it's the Sanwuko set. I have 5-piece Sanwuko with Ring of Royal Grandeur and Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. It's quite dependent on cooldown this build, so you get plenty of cooldown from Obsidian Ring. You also get it from Indium and from your passive. To never run into spirit problems, you never do that in this build. I run Cinder Code. I don't actually think it's that much needed. So if you have better what are they called, fire gloves? Can't remember, the mage fist or something. Yeah, if you have good mage fist, you can also use those if you don't have spirit problems. But these both give resource cost and fire damage, so I tend to find that that's the best. So again, 5-piece Sanwuko, belt bracers. I use the cruise boots. There is no monk boots that complement the belt spec. Only the lashing tail kick boots, but we can use those here. So I use the cruise boots together with fire ally that gives 10% damage, and for 2 allies it's 20%, so it's a damage boost. And then I use the belt because I'm lazy. You can constantly keep this up if you want to, but I just wanted to be laid back and like cruise control farming. So that's the gear. For the build, I use explosive light, fire ally, blinding speed, and the whole point of this build is actually Epiphany. So maybe I should have started up by saying that, but the reason I don't use the helm, and that's the difference between this build and normal build specs, is that if you use this helmet, which of course is a huge damage increase, you can't get your dash from your Epiphany, and that's the whole point. You need that dash, and you actually for T13 you don't at all need this damage. So it's if you're pushing gems or pushing whatever you're pushing, you probably would need to, or actually not probably, you have to have this helmet, and then you have to go away from this dashing. But this is for farming, and it's insanely fast. I think it's the fastest build I've ever made. So before I get into it, I just want to quickly give some space for. So I'm just going to show a T13 variant, and then I'm going to. These two things are the only thing that differs from this. Actually, this has to go out because this is not a GR, and this has to go in. So these two things is actually the only thing that changes when you go from this build to GR. So we start out with a T13, and then you can see. So you numlock button Epiphany, so it always is on, and then you start off, of course, by doing sweeping wind. So let's try and have a quick run here. So up with the, and then basically you just dash to everything with Epiphany. So, and if there's nothing that Epiphany dashes on, you use your own dash. And with Ingeum that, oh, need that. With Ingeum running, dashing is actually up 99% of the time, so. And if dashing is not up, it should be odd if there's no mobs to dash to with Epiphany, so. And this is actually a pretty bad riff so far, but you can do this, with this build you do T13 in under 2 minutes. I don't like backtracking, but I do like Death Breath, so. Oh yeah, by the way, for follower, doesn't really matter. Just have the one that does the relic that does it, you know, so he can't have damage and can't die, and then have Oculus Ring for that circle there, damage circle. That's often that gets in handy on the Rift Guardian. That's actually the only weakness this build has is Rift Guardians. And it's not even what you characterize as a weakness, but you'll see that when you get it. This is actually going pretty damn slow compared to normal. So just dash around. In big open areas, this is where this build really hits the nail. Because then it is just so, you can't believe how insane it is. You should really try it. Okay, so the Rift Guardian is here. So there's an Oculus, and then you just use that, what's that, the standard button, I think it's Shift, where you just stand still in place and attack everything. I changed it to space, so, but that button, you know what I'm talking about, so. I don't know, what was that, 3 minutes? That's actually very slow. Normally it goes a lot faster than that. No, we can wait with that. Just try and have a GR run. So you change that ring, and you go away from average band, and since you just took off your grandeur, you need to have it here instead. And then we have a convention instead of average band. And I just use this to have that extra cooldown. I actually don't know what else to use. Nothing is really leveled up, so. And just remember, this build, I have nothing, no gems have been attuned yet, so I haven't sacrificed anything. It's just the gear as it is. But I can just try a 70 run. You can see how it plays out here. No open map again. It's a bit more squishy, as you probably could see there. That's why it's good to have that free death. Now this time you actually have to pick up globes because we don't have average band on. It doesn't work. There's no gold in GR, so you can't make it work. Go to the ring and just use your. I don't actually know what that button is called. Stay in place and attack nothing. I don't know. So normally for 70 GR, I use actually this map is just fucking annoying with all the doors and shit. But normally you should be able to clear rifts in under 2 minutes. But with these types of maps, it makes it harder. And it also depends a little bit on rotation on the convention, because if you hit the Rift Guardian and you have to wait for the fire, it takes a little bit longer. But if it hits fire right away and you have an Oculus Ring, he almost insta dies. It's a tough one. So That is also something you can, if you feel confident enough, you can remove the free death and go, what's it called? I can't remember. The one where you get attack speed on mobs over 30, over 70%, I think it is. Just check it. So yeah, you can easily level up gems with this build. It doesn't take too long to clear a rift. And as soon as you actually get to augment some gems into your gear, and imagine what level this can bear. And I'm talking without the headpiece. I just really want this dashing and this mobility. So there's no ads, so there won't be any Oculus Ring, I'm afraid. We have to wait for the fire. That didn't even come either. There it is. So I don't know how fast that was, but it was a bad rift. But normally it's the way I level, that's for sure. It's the fastest I've ever done, so I'll just click these on. So that other passive is seize the initiative, of course. That's the name. You can change your free death to seize the initiative. That gives you even more damage because of attack speed. So yeah, and for the follower, you mainly just need the Oculus Ring in situation, and Ace of Yore is also nice, but it doesn't really matter. You have such a huge damage area with your area of effect. So anyway, it's a small tweak to the meta. I hope you like it. So let me know what you think, and if you have any ideas, just let me know. Or if you have any questions, just shoot. Alright, thanks for watching. Till next time, have a nice evening and days. Goodbye.